Have you ever noticed how most of your pain exists only inside your head? Not out there, in the real world, but in the invisible storm of thoughts that never stop circling inside you. You replay old conversations, trying to fix words that can't be unsaid. You imagine futures that haven't happened, and most likely never will. You think and think and think until you're no longer living, only analyzing. The Stoics had a word for this silent chaos, pathe, the passions that disturb the soul. And their entire philosophy, every line, every exercise, was a rebellion against it, because they understood something we keep forgetting. The enemy isn't life. The enemy is the mind that refuses to be still. Today, we're going to explore 10 Stoic lessons that will help you conquer overthinking, not by escaping your mind, but by mastering it. 1. Control what you can, release what you can't. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Overthinking begins when the mind tries to control what lies beyond its reach. We imagine outcomes, obsess over how others see us, replay every what if. But the Stoic draws a sacred line. Here, my control, there, everything else. The rest is wind, waves, and weather. You can't command the storm, but you can steer your ship. Every anxious thought is a test. Are you focusing on the wheel or the waves? 2. The mind is a mirror, not a prison. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Your mind reflects the world, but over time, reflections become distortions. You stop seeing things as they are and start seeing them as you fear them to be. When you overthink, you're polishing that mirror with dirty hands. You're trying to clean the image by scrubbing harder, when you really need is to stop touching it. The Stoic's task is not to stop thinking, but to stop believing every thought is true. Pause, observe, and let reality, not imagination, be your mirror. 3. Thought without action is a trap. We call it thinking things through, but often it's just a way to avoid the risk of doing something real. Epictetus warned that philosophy isn't for talking, it's for living. Overthinking is like sharpening a sword forever, but never entering battle. You don't find clarity by analyzing life from a distance. You find it in the noise, the friction, the courage to move. Every time you overthink, ask, am I preparing or postponing? 4. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. This is not morbid, it's liberating, because most of what you overthink about won't matter when you're gone. Death is the great filter. It strips away the illusions that feed anxiety, reputation, perfection, control. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. If your time were running out, and it is, would you waste it untangling every thread of your worry? When you remember your mortality, overthinking loses its power. You start to live. 5. Accept the uncomfortable truth. You are not your thoughts. We say, I am anxious, as if anxiety defines us. But the Stoics taught the opposite. You are the observer, not the storm. Your thoughts rise and fall like waves. You can't stop them, but you don't have to drown in them either. Overthinking begins when you fuse your identity with every emotion. You mistake the noise for your nature. But if you can stand back, even for a moment, and see your thoughts as passing clouds, you'll realize you were never the weather. You were always the sky. 6. rehearse misfortune. This might sound strange. Why would anyone want to imagine the worst? But the Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, because they knew that what we fear most loses its power when we face it deliberately. You overthink because you're afraid. You fear loss, rejection, uncertainty. But when you rehearse these in your mind, not obsessively but consciously, you train your soul to say, even if this happens, I will endure. Fear shrinks when the mind stops pretending it's immortal. 7. Focus on virtue, not validation. Why do you overthink what people think of you? Because deep down, you've confused approval with meaning. But to the Stoics, only one thing mattered: virtue, the courage to do what's right even when no one sees. Seneca said, "The approval of others is not a good. The unapproval of others is not an evil." When your compass is internal, not external, your mind stops spinning in circles of, did I say the right thing? Did they like me? Do what's right. Let them talk. Freedom begins the moment you no longer need applause. 8. Learn to desire less. Overthinking often disguises itself as ambition. You want more success, more clarity, more certainty. But every more creates a new anxiety. Epictetus wrote, "He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have." The Stoic path is subtraction, not addition. You don't need a quieter world. You need fewer wants. A person who desires little cannot be disturbed much, and a calm mind is wealth beyond measure. 9. Transform pain into power. Nietzsche once said, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." The Stoics would have agreed. They didn't deny pain. They transformed it. Every setback, every sleepless night of overthinking is a chance to exercise endurance, patience, and courage. You don't become strong by escaping discomfort. You become strong by standing inside it until it no longer controls you. So when the storm in your head feels unbearable, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What strength is this trying to build in me?" 10. The present moment is all you ever own. Overthinking is time travel. You visit the past to rewrite it and the future to control it. And in the process, you lose the only moment that's real. Plato said, "Man must rise above the illusions of time." The Stoics lived this by returning again and again to the now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present," not as a slogan, but as survival. Because when you truly inhabit the present moment, overthinking dissolves. There's no past to regret, no future to fear, only the stillness of being alive. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe. This breath, this heartbeat, is the only truth you ever really have.